Today has been like an extremely good day because I've been going through hell recently. Someone blessed me with $30, so I just ordered mad food. Dude, Rel, that is. I'm glad that you had someone come in and clutch up for you and you're able to order mad food. I'm glad you're having a good day. I love to hear that, man. That's awesome. I'm doing all right. Goob and I are under just a lot of stress and pressure right now. We gotta finish getting everything out of our old apartment, and then we got to deep clean it, and then I have to wrestle with the fact that I live in my mom's basement. Not that there's anything wrong with that, it just was never my plan, you know, and I'm thankful to have the opportunity to come stay here. Part of the thing though, like just more and more recently, I've been sinking into this really like dark place as it pertains to like my world view. When you look at like the major systems that are in place and how they're just rigged and they're stacked against you, you know, and it's they're designed to keep poor people poor, making not even just barely enough to keep going, and all your hard work and efforts just result in more gains for those above you. You spend your whole life working, making money for someone else, and it bums me out. You know, there's the people in this world, they don't have the opportunity to come take some time with their folks. You know, I'm fortunate that I do, and I'm thankful for it. But there are so many people in similar situations where it's like literally what I was making 2 years ago is fine to stay afloat. And then just over the course of even the last 2 years, the world has become, you know, a little more expensive, a little more expensive, a little more expensive. And before you know it, I can't even afford my shitty apartment anymore, and it's rough. It's a hard cold world, you know what I mean? And then it's like healthcare is something that a lot of people can't afford, which is like one of the main ways to take care of yourself and preserve your health is like going to the doctor, and millions of people don't have that opportunity. It's horrible. You know, you want to get a nice reliable car that you could afford payments for, but you don't have good credit, so unfortunately you can't buy a car. Like, why is it up to someone else whether or not you can buy a car? You know, and I understand from like the financial aspect it's not profitable or whatever, but it's like, why is that more important than making sure that everyone alive is okay? You know what I mean? Jeff Bezos can go to space for fun, but what that cost him, he could have ended at least hunger in our country, and he could have solved homelessness, but he chose to go to space. Now, it's his money, I guess, and he can do with it what he wants, but it just seems like the people that are in the position that could actually make an impact and make the world a better place choose not to. And there are people that are, you know, ethical with their money, I suppose, but I just don't understand at what point why money became more important than humanity. You know, it's like we're supposed to be the most highly evolved species, so why does it suck to be human, you know? And I am largely a humanist. I think that humans are very important, and I think that at least to other humans we are very special, and it would just be nice, I think, if we could all treat each other as such. Regardless of what you make or what your job is or whatever, you are a human, you have value, and you are important, you know what I mean? And then other things too I've been thinking about, like Walmart, and like how they'll just come into a community and basically drive every other business out of business. You know, all your mom and pop shops close down, and then if that particular Walmart isn't super profitable, they'll just close down after destroying your entire local economy, and then open a super center like 20 minutes from where that was, leaving a giant vacant building in your community that they still make money for having because of tax write-offs and benefits. So they destroy your economy and then force you to drive 20 minutes to the other location because that one wasn't profitable. But since it's 20 minutes over, it now services multiple counties, which it has also destroyed. You know, they don't care about you, and why would they? You know, like a mom and pop shop, they have to sell a pizza cutter for like $4.50, you know, because they have to pay for it to be made and then have it, and then, you know, shipping and all that, and then actually selling it, they need to sell it for like, you know, $4 or $5 to actually make a profit, whereas Walmart can just go and sell their pizza cutter for 88 cents, which is not ethically sourced. You know, the living conditions of like the factory workers for Walmart, they live in these tiny little living quarters that are in the factory, so they like live inside of the factory, and you know, they'll make less than $3 a day, you know, just making pizza cutters. So then Walmart can sell a pizza cutter for 88 cents. The mom and pop can't compete with that, obviously. Walmart's not even actually making money on that though, but they can afford to take losses on thousands of their items because they'll still not only make that profit back from you being in the store buying other things. They have so much money across their brand that they can afford to take those losses until they drive everyone out of business. And then Matt says, but they give jobs. And it's like, okay, best case scenario, and I doubt this is true, it may be, but we'll just grant them the best case. Let's say Walmart is paying you $15 an hour to be a cashier, which, when I say best case, $15 an hour is not enough to live off of, first of all. And that push, yo, Malachi, what's going on? Thank you for that. That push for the $15 minimum wage started in and around like 2008, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, whatever, math. And so now that the $15 minimum wage is finally starting to take effect, like I was saying in my experience, even just in the last 2 years, the cost of living has gone up so much. You know what I mean? So it's like they've caught up. So 13 years ago, $15 an hour would have maybe been pretty good in terms of just being able to cover just like basic living expenses, you know, but the world's caught up. That doesn't cut it anymore. And most places aren't even at that $15, you know, but so like I said, we'll just grant them the best case. And let's say as a Walmart cashier, you do make $15 an hour. You're not going to be full-time. And even at full-time, 40 hours a week at $15 an hour, you can forget about buying a house or starting a family or providing for anyone other than yourself. And even for you, you're going to be struggling on that. It's sad. You know, and it's like, I'm not even saying like, oh, you'll be struggling because you can't buy an amazing TV or whatever. It's like, no, those things are really nice to have, but I'm just talking about just basic living expenses, you know, health insurance, car insurance, life insurance, cell phone, your car payment if you have that, rent, utilities, gas, groceries, if you take prescriptions, you know, it's like just basic expenses. Let's say you're getting 20, 25 hours a week at $15 an hour, you're not going to be able to cover those things. So when you say, oh yeah, they give jobs, Walmart creates jobs, it's like, no, it's not good enough. In addition to that, I've talked to people that have worked at Walmart, and I have watched a fair amount of like documentaries and things on it. I'm by no means an economist, and I'm not an expert in finance. That may not surprise you. But the health insurance that they do offer is so shitty and it's expensive that most of the people working for Walmart can't even actually afford the healthcare benefits that they provide. So it's like they don't provide enough jobs to make up for the ones that they took away by destroying your local economy. And 2, they don't pay you enough. And 3, you won't have access to healthcare. So when you have a Walmart open up in town, it's like, what? Who is that benefiting? Yes, they do sell really cheap groceries. And this is part of the problem, is they have a monopoly in that way where they destroy your economy, first of all, like I said, but then you, depending on where you're at, you might have to depend on Walmart for your groceries and for your prescription. Because depending on where you live, you might not have other options and you might not be able to afford other options, right? But every time, you know, you go to Walmart and spend money in the store, they just grow. They get bigger, they make money, and the exploitation grows and grows. And you have no choice but to feed into that machine because they've given you no other choice. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. So, Rel, when you ask how I am, I'm doing okay. I have a lot to be thankful for. But more and more, my worldview is changing, and I can't stop thinking about these things. And I want to spend the rest of my life doing my part to make this world better for everyone. Yo, Aries coming in hot with that 3-month resub. But Rel, for real though, I'm glad that you are having a good day. Nothing better than a fat ass meal. True. I will say, in working at one of the top richest cities in Illinois has been very hard on my spirit as a poor person. Life is not easy at all for people. No, it's not. It's a fucked up world we live in. Rel, I couldn't have said that better myself. So articulate, so direct. It really is. I feel like it's all a simulation though. I don't know. Some shit just sit right. Yeah, dude, it's horrible, you know? And again, too, like with Jeff Bezos going to the moon or whatever, it's like, what dystopian nightmare are we living in? Like, this is reality. People are just going to space casually for fun. Like, that's not some futuristic sci-fi fantasy bullshit. Like, that's real life, you know? Going back to Walmart, they have 2 machines currently in store that are automated workers. They have a self-driving floor buffer, which used to be a job for a human, right? And so now that's gone. right? And so Matt says, you know, oh, they give jobs. And when I say that, I understand Matt is being satirical in that point. So I'm just bringing it up as the example. They're not giving jobs, they're taking them away. They have another automated machine that does like inventory management. It's like a taller, like tower robot that will just self-drive up and down the aisles and scan shit, right? They have so much money and they have so many resources and technology and research and development that you know that they have more than 2 machines ready to go, but they can't roll it out all at once, because then if you just walk into a Walmart and overnight nobody works there anymore, people are going to get freaked out, right? So they introduce it little by little, so you never have this big aha moment where you're like, hey, wait, that's weird. It's horrible. And now again, too, I'm not saying that, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with driving a floor buffer as your career or your job. You know what I mean? You got to take the opportunities you have, and if that's, you know, something you can do, get that bag. Absolutely, right? But I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody that's like, you know, 6 or 7, and the grown-ups ask them, oh, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to drive the floor buffer at Walmart, right? It's not necessarily a job that many people would want. So on one hand, it's like, yeah, give it to a robot so that person doesn't have to do that anymore. They can use their big human brain to do something more beneficial, something that will progress society forward. But the problem is, when you give the job to the robot, you're not doing anything to help the person that lost their job to a robot. Self-driving trucks and automation in that field, artificial intelligence and artificial general intelligence, within our lifetime, maybe even next 5-6 years, we're going to see, specifically with Amazon, but other freight companies as well, self-driving trucks, right? Think about your average truck driver, you know, maybe in their 40s or 50s. A lot of them are retired veterans or have been injured, and you know what I mean? You're 40 or 50 years old, and all of a sudden a robot takes your truck driving job that you used to depend on for years to, you know, provide for you and your family. What happens to that guy when the self-driving truck takes over? What happens to that person? You know, I do see a reality where we do create a utopian society where all the boring and dangerous jobs are just done by robots, so humans are free to just exist comfortably and create and invent and push things forward, right? But what's going to happen is these jobs are going to get sucked out of the economy, and the only jobs that will really be around are in the technology field, because people will need to service these machines, people will need to code these machines, people will need to innovate these machines. You know, and what's a medically discharged war veteran supposed to do? 50 years old, driving towards that pension, job pulled out from underneath them. They're going to go back to school and learn to code? Why can't we all just have a good life? There's more than enough money. There's more than enough resources. You know, and I understand it wasn't that way forever. It's taken a lot of years to build to this point. But now that we're here, can we not just like turn it off? Like, okay, we did it. All right, everyone stop. We're good. We can take care of everyone now. We did it. Mission accomplished. But no, the resources of Earth are finite. We will kill the planet. We will suck everything from this place if we don't stop. Enough.